Hello, welcome to Movie Summaries. Today we are summarizing a 2018 horror and thriller movie called Truth or Dare. Fair warning, there are spoilers in this summary. Enjoy, and be sure to subscribe to watch more videos weekly, and hit like. The movie begins with an American teenage girl named Giselle Hammond driving to Mexico. She stops at a gas station and asks the clerk for a pack of cigarettes. After handing her the pack, the clerk receives a phone call. He hangs up the call and turns to Giselle to ask her truth or dare, and replies she doesn't wish to play anymore. Giselle grabs a can of lighter fluid, then throws a match and lights the woman on fire while apologizing to her. I don't think saying sorry allows you to set someone on fire. The woman eventually burns to death. That woman was at the wrong place at the wrong time. The movie then cuts to an American college student named Olivia Barron recording a video for her YouTube channel in her dorm room, where she is encouraging others to build homes for a non-profit organization. She is presenting it as a spring break alternative to her college mates. After finishing the video, Olivia's best friend, Marky Cameron, enters her room and complains about Olivia not joining her and their other friends in Mexico for spring break. Marky makes her feel bad for not wanting to go, as this is their last spring break together before graduation. She says this is their last chance to have fun before life tears them apart. Olivia still declines to come, but Marky keeps on insisting, and Olivia's other friends, Tyson Curran and Penelope Amari, also join her. They promise to build homes with Olivia for 2 weeks in the summer. Olivia finally agrees to go on the trip. The group is joined by Marky's boyfriend, Lucas Moreno, and friend, Brad Chang. The group visits different restaurants, beaches, casinos in Mexico, and have the time of their life. And of course, have to post videos and pictures on their social media. One night, the group goes to a dance club, where Marky has too much to drink. She starts dancing with a stranger. Olivia warns her best friend, and pulls her away before her boyfriend notices. Apparently, Marky has a history of cheating on Lucas behind his back. Marky comes back to her senses and thanks Olivia for saving her. That's what BFFs are for, right? Later, Olivia encounters her college mate Ronnie, who is a complete douchebag, at the bar. He repeatedly tries to hit on her, but she turns all his advances down. Seeing Ronnie bother the girl, a nearby patron, Carter, tells Ronnie to screw off. The two guys almost get into a physical confrontation, but Olivia intervenes and convinces Ronnie to let it go. After Ronnie leaves, Olivia thanks Carter and he buys her a drink. The two get to know each other. After partying their hearts out, the rest of the group later head to Olivia at the bar, as they plan to return back to their hotel. A slightly drunk Penelope doesn't want to go back to the hotel room just yet, and Olivia also seemingly wants to spend more time with Carter. Carter tells the group about a cool place nearby that they would have to hike to, but easily convinces them to go. The group hike up a mountain to an abandoned building. Carter passes beers to the group, while Olivia wanders around the place alone. She's recording a Snapchat vid and notices a broken urn with a skull on it. She is then startled by someone's presence. It is Ronnie again. The creep followed the group all this way. The two go back to the group. Marky and the others begin leaving, but Carter asks them to hang out longer. They decide to stay and play Truth or Dare. How original. After a moral dilemma question, a lap dance, naked walk, and a girl-to-girl kiss, the game turns hostile when Olivia picks truth, and Tyson asks her if Marky knows that she's always been in love with Lucas. Olivia also gets back to him and dares him to stop selling forged prescriptions to teenagers. During his turn, Carter picks truth and reveals that he brought the group to the mission because he's okay with strangers dying if he gets to live, puzzling the entire group. Okay group, let's get out of here. When he starts to leave, Olivia confronts him and asks him what he is talking about. He tells her that she and her friends are not part of the game, and they must follow its rules. Tell a lie, you die. Fail to do a dare, you die. Refuse to play, you die. Everyone is weirded out, but they shrug it off and return home. Things have been awkward between Olivia and Marky since the trip, but she's hopeful that Marky will eventually talk to her. Soon, strange things begin to happen, and Olivia starts seeing Truth or Dare written in several places. Coincidence, or what? Marky watches a video of her late father, Roy, who committed suicide a few years ago, and then she barges into Olivia's room to make up with her. Olivia assures her bestie that she doesn't have feelings for Lucas, saying he is like a brother to her. Come on, Olivia, who are you kidding? Olivia continues to see strange things happening around her, and one day, she finds herself surrounded by other students whose faces have morphed into twisted grins with red eyes in the college library. They repeatedly ask her in unison, truth or dare, until she is finally forced to pick out truth, and Olivia yells to the whole library that Marky is constantly cheating on Lucas. The red-eyed students suddenly disappear, and Olivia realizes that she was hallucinating. However, Lucas heard her truth and storms out of the library. Damn, the two girls had just made up. Later at a night bar, Ronnie is asked to pick a truth or dare by a girl with the same creepy look on her face. He doesn't think much of it and picks dare. The girl dares him to show everyone his junk. He stands on the pool table and proceeds to do it, but decides against it when another girl mocks him for it. Carter's warning comes true, and Ronnie dies after tripping on a pool ball. As Olivia explains what transpired at the library to her friends, she receives notifications about a video which captured Ronnie's final moments. After seeing the video, the group doesn't believe Olivia that the game is real, but just a coincidence. Lucas leaves after getting his things. As he walks by an alley, he hears a voice calling to him and asking him to play. He tries to ignore, but the question begins to get burned into his arm. That's a good way to make someone pay attention. He panics and calls Olivia to tell her that he believes her now. While on the phone, Lucas, who has picked truth, is asked how he really feels about Olivia, and he confesses that he has had feelings for her ever since he met her. The group gathers at the house Olivia shares with Marky and Penelope to tell Marky about the game. They have figured out that although the people and things they see during the game are not real, the consequences are very much real. Moreover, the game is going based on the order in which they played. It is Marky's turn, and she receives the question on her phone. She is dared to follow through with her earlier promise and break Olivia's hand. Marky still doesn't believe that the game is real. However, Olivia hands her a hammer and calls her father Roy a coward for committing suicide. Enraged, Marky breaks Olivia's hand with the hammer. Tyson freaks out and leaves with Penelope. Meanwhile, Lucas and Brad rush Olivia to the hospital. It is Brad's turn, and he is forced to come out as gay to his conservative cop father, Han. Fortunately, Han was supportive of Brad. The next day, it's Tyson's turn next, and, unfortunately, during his med school interview, Olivia and others try to convince him that the game is real, but he continues to ignore them. He heads into the interview room. The interviewer becomes possessed and locks herself with Tyson. She asks him, truth or dare, and when he picks truth, she asks him how long he's been forging prescriptions. He lies, and as is customary, he dies. Tyson's death hits Penelope hard, and she drinks heavily to cope with the loss. She drinks with or without any reason. The group comforts her, and Lucas suggests that they should stick together and pick truth every time till they figure things out. Marky takes drunk Penelope to bed, while the others try to locate Carter online. The group doesn't find Carter online, but they come across a news article about Giselle from earlier in the movie, setting a woman on fire after exhibiting strange behavior. Police are still looking for Giselle for murder. Olivia locates her profile online and notices Carter in her pictures, but unfortunately, Giselle has not tagged him in her posts. Olivia creates a fake account and asks to meet her about the game. Smart, but also, this could go very bad. Alone, Penelope is asked to play the game next. She reluctantly picks the truth, but she is told that she and her friends can't pick the truth 2 times in a row. The group later find Penelope on the roof. She reveals that she has been dared to walk around the whole roof while downing the rest of her vodka. Oof, if she survives this, I bet she never drinks alcohol again. Lucas rushes to the roof to help her, while others get a mattress to catch her in case she falls. Penelope almost makes it to the end when Olivia notices a metal fence, which could impale Penelope, even with the mattress, and she quickly gets in her car to break down the fence. Everything works out, and Penelope survives the game, even though she barfed after her last sip and took a fall. Good thing the mattress idea worked. Olivia hears back from Giselle, and the group meets her at a warehouse. It is revealed that Giselle and her friends played Truth or Dare at the mission during their trip, and one of her friends, Sam, trashed the place, which Giselle believes may have started the curse. Most of Giselle's friends are now dead. It is also revealed that Penelope wasn't able to pick Dare because Giselle and her friends followed a pattern of 2 truths and a dare when they played the game. Olivia asked Giselle about Carter, but she claims she doesn't know who that is. Giselle then tearfully apologizes to Olivia and reveals that she is still playing the game. She proceeds to shoot her, but Penelope pushes Olivia out of the way and gets fatally shot instead. Brad and Lucas immediately take Giselle down, but since she failed the dare, the game kills her. The group is questioned by the police, and they tell the detective about everything except the game. The group starts researching about the mission. However, the game never rests, and it forces Olivia to pick Truth or Dare. She picks Dare, and she is tasked to sleep with Lucas. The demon that is running this game is messy, and a shit stir. Marky gets upset, and Olivia explains that she only picked so that others wouldn't have to. After Marky leaves, Olivia admits to Lucas that she only picked Dare because she has a huge secret that she's been keeping from Marky. The two then make out and sleep together. Per usual, the game doesn't rest. It's Lucas's turn again. He picks truth, and he is forced to admit that if he had to choose between Olivia and Marky, he would choose Marky. Olivia and Lucas then continued their research about the mission. It is revealed that half a century ago, the mission's priest was found brutally murdered, and weeks after his death, a massacre took place at the mission, in which one girl named Inez Reyes survived. They track Inez down in Tijuana and head out to meet her. Meanwhile, outside a cafe, Marky is forced to play the game. She picks the truth, and she is forced to admit that she still keeps the gun that Roy killed himself with, because she sometimes thinks about using it on herself. In Tijuana, Olivia and Lucas meet Inez, who doesn't speak and only communicates through writing. It is revealed that Inez was a former nun, and she would face abuse along with the other nuns at the hands of the mission's priest. One day, she summoned a demon called Calyx, which killed the priest, but also started tormenting Inez and her friends. Nuns summoning demons? That's a first. Inez reveals that she banished Calyx by sacrificing her tongue and putting it in an urn after reciting an incantation. Sam released the demon by breaking that pot, and now only he can put an end to it by sacrificing his tongue. Meanwhile, Brad is forced to play the game while talking to his dad. He is dared to snatch his father's gun and make him beg for his life. Brad complies, but ends up getting shot dead by an officer nearby. After learning about Brad's death, Marky reunites with Olivia and Lucas. During their reunion, Olivia is forced to play the game, and she is dared to admit her secret to Marky. Olivia reveals that she was with Marky's father on the night he committed suicide. It turns out that Roy had been fired from his job, so Olivia had a drink with him to comfort him, and an inebriated Roy tried to have sex with her. Roy quickly realized his mistake and tried to apologize to Olivia, but she threatened to expose him and told him Marky would be better off if he were dead. Taken aback by the revelation, Marky storms out. Olivia is then interrogated by the police about the message she sent to Giselle from a fake account. The detective mentions Sam and shows Olivia his picture. Lo and behold, it is Carter. Afterwards, Olivia goes to Marky's home and finds her with her dad's gun, contemplating suicide. She manages to talk her out of it. Olivia, Lucas, and Marky then track Sam down, hold up in his apartment to avoid being found by the game. They force Sam at gunpoint to come with them to put an end to the game. The four return to the mission, and they make Sam recite the incantation. The old building begins to crumble, and Lucas is forced to play the game. He is dared to kill either Olivia or Marky, but he refuses to comply, anticipating his doom. Marky and Lucas share one last kiss. As Sam prepares to cut his tongue, Calyx possesses Lucas and makes him kill Sam before slicing his throat. It is then Marky's turn, and Olivia makes Marky choose Dare and asks her not to complete it. Marky is puzzled, but Olivia asks her to trust her. Marky complies, and Calyx possesses her. He then proceeds to make Marky shoot herself, but Olivia intervenes and makes Marky shoot her in the arm, completing the dare. Olivia then dares the demon to play. He picks the truth, and Olivia asks him how they can get out of this game alive. Unfortunately, Calyx reveals that they can't, and it won't stop until everyone is dead. For the first time ever, Olivia decides to put her and her friends before others, and goes live on her YouTube channel, telling her viewers about the game, before finally asking, truth or dare? The video is seen all around the world, and the movie ends with one of Olivia's viewers' face beginning to morph. Sheesh, I'm never going to play truth or dare for the rest of my life. Hope you enjoyed our summary. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos weekly. Thanks.